Headphones are strongly recommended for this video. In order to create immersive virtual replicas of real scenes, we must capture the auditory aspects of the scene as well as the visual ones. Thus, we present Hearing Anything Anywhere, a method for capturing and virtualizing real acoustic spaces. We start with a real-world scene with a sound source of unknown position and orientation. Our goal is to capture the intrinsic acoustic properties of the scene in a way that allows us to simulate any sound signal being played from the sound source and to listen to it at any location, hence the name Hearing Anything Anywhere. In order to measure the scene, we play a sine sweep from the sound source and record it from a set of 12 sparse locations. This allows us to measure a set of 12 room impulse responses in the room, which characterize the room's acoustics given the source location and each of the 12 microphone locations. In addition, we capture the rough planar geometry of the room. After capturing these room impulse responses, our method allows us to interpolate between them and render the room impulse response at arbitrary locations. We can then simulate any audio being played anywhere in the room by convolving the predicted room impulse response for the desired listener location with the desired source audio. Now for a brief explanation of our method. Recording the room's impulse response for a particular listener location is intended to simulate sending out a single impulse sound wave from the speaker and recording the reflections it generates from a microphone stationed at the listener location. Our task is analogous to the task of sparse view novel view synthesis in computer vision. However, we must pay special attention to the peculiarities of sound. When we take a picture of a scene, we capture millions of pixels, each of which provides unique information about a precise direction of incoming light. On the other hand, when we record sound from a certain location, sound from all incoming directions is aggregated together into a single channel, almost as if we were observing the scene from a single pixel. However, sound travels much slower than light. This means that we get information about the time of arrival of different sound reflections. This allows us to attribute components of the sound to different individual reflection paths, each of which provides supervision for our model. In addition, sound interacts with the different surfaces in the room in a frequency-dependent manner. Each time a sound wave strikes a surface in a room, only a fraction of its energy at each frequency is reflected. This means that each surface can be viewed as filtering the incoming sound by attenuating its different frequency components by different amounts. The reflection response of the surface describes the degree to which it reflects each different frequency. Our model learns these surface properties through an audio inverse rendering framework. First, we explicitly compute all the reflection paths to a certain order between the sound source and the listener. We characterize each path with its length, the surfaces that it interacts with, and the direction that it exits the speaker. Since we know the length of the reflection path, we know the reflection's temporal placement in the room impulse response. We can then observe the real recorded room impulse response in that time window and inversely reason about the properties of the surfaces contained in the reflection path. Thus, each reflection path provides supervision that we use to train our model. In addition, since most sound sources radiate sound at different magnitudes in different directions depending on frequency, we model the sound source's directivity using the same inverse rendering framework. We show that the parameters our model learns for the source's directivity pattern and for the reflection characteristics of each surface are physically interpretable. Here are some qualitative comparisons between our method and existing state-of-the-art baselines in the complex room. In these examples, note that the ground truth is recorded on a specialized binaural microphone, which has slightly different intrinsics than the omnidirectional microphones from which our method estimates its virtual binauralized sounds. addition, since our model learns physically interpretable parameters for the speaker's directivity, we can simulate speaker rotation, even though the speaker was only in one orientation during training. Here is an example of that in the classroom. To evaluate our method, we collect a dataset of room impulse responses and music sound recordings on a diverse set of real rooms, which vary greatly in terms of shape, size, volume, complexity, materials, and reverberation times. The dataset includes monaural and binaural RIRs and music recordings from over 3,000 listener locations in 14 different room configurations. These additional room configurations are used to evaluate zero-shot modifications to the room's layout. We show our model can reconstruct the low-frequency sound field, generate realistic RIR heat maps, is robust to geometric distortions of over 1 meter, and outperforms baselines trained on over 10 times as many data points. For more results and details, please refer to the main paper. Thank you for watching.